So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.
You want to support independent economic movements around the world but don't know how? Welcome to Triangle, an independent social economic network right in the palm of your hands. Check on the progress of the projects you are interested in. Watch live videos of the projects that you either donate to or are interested in. Comment on the project with your friends, or contribute to the project while it is live. Check the hottest business plan submission all around the globe. Get an instant update on new business ideas that are submitted through our unique submission system. Upload content about your own business progress. Start a live video to show the world or pictures of your progress. Get personal with the people that had contributed to your project, and also to the people to whom you have contributed to. Search the globe for all the active projects to see what you might be interested in. Start engaging with the future. Sign up for Triangle.
All right, guys, welcome back. I apologize about last week. Last week I got really busy, but this week I came back with something that I think you guys are gonna like. You guys give me a thumbs up if you can hear me properly. Spread this this YouTube. Spread this live YouTube as much as you can. Without any further ado, we'll begin. This is our topic for today. How do we achieve oneness? Achieving oneness. What can we learn from these images that we have up here about these creatures who are less intelligent than us, but are capable of creating a oneness, whether it be a oneness so that they can travel and reach further together, a oneness so that they can defend themselves against predators, a oneness just so that they can be among people, like-minded people, so that they can evolve. You guys give me a thumbs up if you can hear me properly. Thumbs down if you can't hear me properly. So these images that I'm showing you guys are basically other creatures that somehow have developed some kind of collective oneness, collective consciousness during the times when they are either in danger, they have to travel, or they just have to move from one place to the next. So why is this important, especially in this time, to study about achieving oneness as a people, as a collective? It's important because, like Steve Biko, the South African activist, is important because the most powerful, the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. This is why we need to study this. This is why it's important, because a lot of things that we consider as real or urgent or just the way it is, if you think about it long enough, it's not just the way it is. It's not urgent or as urgent as other things. It's not it's not like certain things you think that are life threatening, or oh my God, if I lose this, I'm gonna lose everything. Most of the times it's not even like this. But what our opponents have in their hands are our minds, our perception. And they have been planting errors of perception, errors of perspective in our minds, so that we think that the things that are important to us are supposed to be important to us are not seen as urgent. But the things that are not even life-threatening are seen as more important than even our health. A lot of people right now, especially during this pandemic, have had to choose between whether they're going to pay their rent or they're going to buy food. So just imagine that you're being asked to choose between having a roof over your head and food in your belly. That's the only hardest decisions that we perceive that we have to make at this time. But if you look at the animals, they have survived without having a job. They have survived without having to choose between shelter and food. They have survived without these things. And humans that are more smarter than animals are being asked to choose, whether directly or indirectly, being asked to choose whether they should have a roof over their head or food in their belly. And I think that a lot of these things come from the fact that we perceive that people are more powerful than us. And in that same sense, we also perceive that we are weak. We perceive that people are higher than us, and in the same sense, we perceive that we are low. We perceive that people have reached further than us, so we perceive that we are behind. We perceive that other people are more technologically developed than us, so we feel like we are technologically behind. A lot of these things are because our minds are in the hands of the oppressor. I could give so many examples of this, so many examples of how this is currently being used against us. But this is why it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied because this is the most powerful weapon. The most powerful weapon is your mind. Your mind is where everything starts. Your mind is where you perceive that there's a sense of urgency towards something, but there's not really any sense of urgency. Your mind is where you perceive that you can chill on something that's urgent, but you can't really chill on it because it's pretty urgent. This is where everything begins, and this is where our own reality begins. Who knows that? I mean, who's aware that the inside mind creates a world of its own based on what's outside of it, and vice versa. So there's a world inside of your head, and there's a world outside of your head. The world inside of your head creates the world outside of your head. And that's why the mind and oneness need to be studied. Because it's important that we are aware of how we are being manipulated in this society, and especially in this society that we are in right now. So what is oneness, right? What is collective oneness? I say collective oneness because if I say collective consciousness, it's almost like I'm talking like I have a PhD in psychology, but I don't have any PhD in psychology. And I don't want anyone to believe that I have some knowledge that they don't have, because probably the things that I'm talking about here is probably things that you yourself are aware of. You're aware of it, but you haven't been able to communicate it properly. So collective oneness is a fundamental sociological concept that refers to the set of shared beliefs, ideas, attitudes, knowledge that are common to a social group or society. I don't know if you guys remember, those of you who are here, that I always talk about the things that we can agree on, rather than us thinking, oh, I'm from this tribe, and oh, I'm from this region of Africa, oh, I'm from this country in Africa, which are basically false, like the names of these countries. We all know where they came from. And instead of us thinking to ourselves, we need to be separated because of all these differences, we can come together on a few of common things that we all need. And I always talk about land. Land, we all know we want our land back, because there's no people without land. People are connected to land. All wars that have been fought over land, because the land is important. If you don't own land, you don't own nothing here. And this is why when the British went into Kenya, they took the land. They took the land and then they taxed the people on that land. 2, we want our needs met with whatever resources we have, whatever resources God have given us. These are our shared beliefs, ideas, attitudes, and knowledge. This is what collective oneness is all about. Something that we share in common, breaking it down to the lowest common denominator and figuring out where are we at right now as a people. There's so many different, we are so different in all type of ways. And we can go on about our differences forever. You know, who have like they did with the Rwandan genocide. They went in and look at the difference between the size of the people's nose, and imagine these simple things, looking at the difference between the size of people's nose and how the nose are straight and which ones are wide, and giving one rights over the other, caused the life of how many hundreds of thousands of people by just triggering differences. So in order to reverse that, we need to trigger similarities. Instead of using differences as a trigger, you trigger through similarities. And what similarities we have? 1, we want our land back. 2, we want our needs met with what God has given us on this earth, and it start being used to profit other people. And 3, we want peace. I don't know anyone that don't want peace. Only the devil don't want peace, because the devil is here to sow confusion. Only the devil don't want peace. So right there, we can see all these similarities. I mean, right there we can find the lowest common denominator between what we all want, and then we move from there into this oneness. We move towards those things that we want based on these common denominators. So one, we want our land back. Two, we want our needs met with what God has given us. And three, we want peace, because we have enough. We have had enough of we have had enough of not having peace. So now I want to talk about a concept now, that I have about how this can be achieved. Not just by having the same beliefs and just say, okay, we have the same beliefs and we sit down there and we do nothing about these beliefs. We can actually create induce situations where this actually moves us forward collectively. Because saying that we have the same beliefs, pointing out these beliefs is not enough. It's like a pregnant woman that's having problems giving childbirth. Like the birth need to be induced. It can't just be, the woman can't just be pregnant and having issues giving birth. Now this birth now has to be induced. How do you induce it? This is how I believe it can be induced, and I'm sure that you guys have your own ideas as well. This is good. This is great, because we need ideas. Ideas are what will induce this common denominators that we have, having us move together in oneness. It is ideas that will do this, nothing else but ideas. And here is my idea about this. So I have this theory of the panopticon. If you guys don't know what a panopticon is like a circular prison. And the reason why the prison is circular is because the prison only needs one guard if it's circular. Everyone in this panopticon is responsible for each other. And in this panopticon, the God in the center has to be an idea that will hold us responsible, hold those who are in this prison responsible for each other. But if you don't think about it as a prison, think about it as a 5-star hotel. Or you can think about it as a prison, because the world is a prison anyway. That's what I think. The world is a prison. I believe that we are a captured species. Captured by what? I'm not sure yet. But a panopticon is a disciplinary concept brought to life in the form of a central observation tower placed within a circle of prison cells. So, as I say, don't think about it as a prison. Think about it as a 5-star hotel. If you're in a 5-star hotel and you want to be safe in a 5-star hotel, you make that 5-star hotel circular and you put a guard in the center of that 5-star hotel. What that does is that, one, it holds everyone responsible for each other, and two, whoever gets out of these common denominators, these oneness that I'm talking about, whoever gets out of this, the God is there in the center to show you that you're coming out of this common oneness that we're trying to move forward with. It's almost like when you're driving on the highway and you fall asleep a little bit and you run off the road a little bit, you hear that loud sound on your tires, like rrr. That's telling you need to go back on the road, like you're falling off. That's what the God in the center is there for, to tell you when you're coming off the road. and how do you get back on before something dangerous happens. I also would like to let you guys know that the uh, these social networking sites are panopticons. They are prisons. It's no coincidence that when you get banned on Facebook for a week or two, or who knows, permanently, that they call it Facebook prison, Instagram jail, is because it's a panopticon within itself, and it's holding you responsible to their terms and conditions. So these terms and conditions are based on what they say is right and wrong, but there must be a quote unquote panopticon created to show created based on these oneness that I told you about above, shared beliefs, shared beliefs, ideas, attitudes, knowledge, right? This panopticon that needs to be created in order for this oneness to happen needs to be on not just on some person's terms and conditions because they created this thing, but from the root it needs to be created with a certain shared ideas and beliefs and attitudes and knowledge that we have of ourselves, beliefs that we have of ourselves, ideas that we have that we want to produce, and the attitudes that will actually make these ideas come to life. If the panopticon is created from the root with these things in mind, then we ourselves can create our own terms and conditions about how we want to proceed as a people. So let me show you guys what a 21st century panopticon looks like. This is my idea. This is my idea of what I believe that can create a form of collective oneness. Having us put ourselves in this concept of a social economic network, and then within this concept of a social economic network, you can actually see the consequences of your actions and your inactions. So then you're more informed. You're more informed about which decision is more logical based on the information that you have. When you're able to see the consequences of your actions and your inactions, then you can make more critical decisions. Then you can make more informed decisions. Then you can make smarter decisions. Then you can progress together. Then you can learn from your mistakes. Then you can learn from your achievements by just being able to see the consequence of your actions and your inactions. If we all collectively are able to see the consequences of our actions and our inactions, then we can create then it starts to crystallize. Our ideas start to crystallize. The idea of our shared beliefs, shared customs, attitudes, and knowledge. These things start to crystallize, and we begin to build an identity in this world. We begin to build an identity, and then we are able to defend this identity as a collective, and then move forward. And this is the whole concept of what I myself am creating. This concept of giving people the opportunity to come into a room, an internet room, call it whatever you want to call it, but it's a social economic social network, to come into this network and then to see the consequences of actions and inactions as a collective. And the reason why this is important because sometimes we make decisions thinking that these decisions are not they're not important, and we make this decision individually. We make the decisions thinking it's not that important. I could just do it once or twice. I could do it once every month. It's not really that much, it's not really important. But if you stop if we stop thinking on an individual level, we're able to see the world on more of a level where we can actually think to ourselves, okay, maybe it's not just me doing this. Let me see how many more people are doing this and what kind of effect it has, and not just on you, but on the world itself. Then we are able now to think to ourselves, oh wow, this thing that I've been doing once every month can actually come out to be something as powerful as this. It's having this kind of negative effect. Okay, let me change this behavior as a collective and see what happens then. Right? If you guys have any questions, just post them in the chat. I'll answer them accordingly. You guys know I do it. I don't really have long lessons. I'm just putting some ideas out there. This is just thoughts and thought time. And write down whatever questions you have if you want to ask me after as well. That's fine. We can do that. So now I'm gonna move to how do we actually begin to do this? Well, first we have to look in the mirror, because as I said in the beginning, the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So you have to look within yourself first, because nothing works without you looking within yourself. So if you don't believe in yourself, then nothing happens. It shows up outside of you as well if you don't believe in yourself. Just like animals can smell when you're scared, I believe the world, nature, your surroundings, consciousness, all these things are a part of the awareness. When you yourself is not confident in your own ideas, are not confident that you can achieve something, it shows up. So the first person you have to work on is yourself. The first thing you have to work on is not outside of you, it's inside of you, your mind. And one of the best ways to do this is to meditation, right? Because meditation is powerful. You have to kind of detach yourself from the external world, because the external world is creating the internal world, that then goes back and create and repeats the external world. If you're feeling like your life is miserable on this earth, you're not just feeling that, like you're creating that reality as well. So we have to look within ourselves first. And the reason why it's good, meditation is good, is because sometimes we need to come outside. Sometimes we have to be outside of all this confusion that we have in our head, because the outside world wasn't created in our image. We have to create an image of the world that we want to see, instead of creating an image of how everyone else has the world and people telling you, oh, that's just how it is. That's not just how it is. This world was created this way. It was created that every time you park in an area you're not supposed to park, or they say you're not supposed to park, you get a ticket. It was created that every year your rent raised for no reason. This is not normal. This is somebody else's creation. It's also created that now they're saying, oh, in order for you to do this, you have to do that. Talking about the civet, I call it civet for now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. In order for you to get out of the country, you have to take this. That's a condition. That's an if-else statement. That's like a program. And the program that we are on wasn't created by us. The program was created by someone else. So in order for us to be able to transform into what we want to transform ourselves into, because of this collective oneness that we have developed, the shared beliefs, shared ideas, shared attitude, shared knowledge, we have to be able to fix the problems within first. The error in perception and the error in perspective needs to be fixed within us, in order for us now to come out and convince other people that there is another way, that this is just somebody's program. just like the Matrix. And it's hard because if you look at the Matrix, the movie itself, when Neo found out that all the stuff that he was living in was just a program, he couldn't handle it. If any of you have seen this movie, knew that he threw up. That's the first thing that happened. He threw up. Like his mind couldn't handle it. Like he was outside of something that he thought all the time that's just how it is. And then he found out this is not just how it is. He found out that it was an actual program he was on, and he got off of that program. And I don't know if you guys remember when I talk about the pattern interrupt. That's what a pattern interrupt does to you. That's what a pattern interrupt does to people. It grabs their attention. It's like somebody grabbing you, when you misbehave as a child and you think that, oh, I could just do this thing that my mother told me that I shouldn't do, and your mother grab you and she just starts shaking you like, what's wrong with you? That's what a pattern interrupt is. And that's how it feels when you enter into this, or you exit this program. That's how you exit the program, through a pattern interrupt. So through this collective, through these common beliefs and shared knowledge and behavior and attitudes and these things that we have in common instead of the differences that we have, we can interrupt these patterns, these systems and these programs that's been running here on the earth for the past how many years. These patterns can be interrupted based on these simple common ground beliefs, like Maria said, these common ground beliefs that we can interrupt these patterns through this. Because let me tell you guys, it's because of us being so diverse why we still can't unite yet. It's because of these differences, these different things that we have and we share, these differences that we have with each other is the reason why Africa is still 54 or 55 countries right now. And they knew that this would work because we do have genuine differences. We do have genuine concerns, genuine beef, actually, because these things have been going on for centuries. But what do we all want? That's what we had to find out. Because people I don't believe people just fight wars. People fight wars because of land. That's one. People fight wars because they feel like they're not at peace. That's two. And they feel like they need to defend their peace. And people fight wars because they feel like they're not getting their needs met. That's how these things begin. And what I'm saying is that instead of allowing others to use our differences against us, we can find common things that we all need, common things that we all are even fighting against each other for. Because there's common things that we fight against each other for. Right? We fight against each other because of these same things that make us different. And the same thing that make us, imagine this, the same thing that make us different can make us, are still some of the things that can make us similar. If you think about it, think about this. So we have different beliefs, we have different ideas, we have different attitudes and different knowledge. At the same time, we have shared beliefs, we have shared ideas, we have shared attitudes, and we have shared knowledge that we can use. So the same things that are being used to separate us are the same things that can be used to unite us. And that's where the oneness, that's the oneness, that's where the oneness comes from. That's where it will come from. And those common denominators we want to talk about again, as I said, one, we want the land. We want the land back. Two, we want our needs met. And three, we want peace. I don't know anybody, any African who legitimately does not feel that way. And with these, we can move forward. I want to show you guys one more thing. So these images I'm going to show you guys is from the 1979 Iranian Revolution. So remember when I started, I showed you guys these images, right? These images of oneness, these creatures who somehow, even though we are smarter than them, has developed some type of collective consciousness, a collective oneness. And whether it means, like on your bottom left, the sheep's having a daily routine, it means on the top image, the sardines, they're swimming with each other in a big circle because they know that they're in danger. And the best way to react when you're in danger is to group up as one, because that intimidates people. That intimidates the sharks even, because the sharks can smell the sardines bundling up. But when the sharks look from half a mile away in the water or a mile away, all the sharks seeing is a big ball that's moving. The sharks get intimidated by that. Whether it be in the bottom right corner where you see those swarm of birds trying to fly and make designs and trying to get to one place safely. Right? But look at these images of human beings doing the same thing. Look at this image. All these are human beings doing the same exact thing as the animals. Watch it. Look at these images. So let me give you guys some context about this image. So this image is during 1979, the Iranians had a revolution. There was a Ayatollah by the name of Ayatollah Khomeini, who, when the Iranian people were being oppressed by the English during that time, and you guys know who else, they're always teaming up with each other, the devil of company. This man was sending reports back to Iran, telling the people, like preaching to the people, preaching the things that they want, preaching this peace, and preaching how they want their country back in their hands, and preaching against the people, the oppressors, them, and everything. And when he came back to Iran, this is how he was greeted. 10 million people came out like this to see him. Look at these images. This is the exact image of the creatures up here? Look at these creatures, then look at the images here. It's the exact same thing. And I know we tend to believe that we are somehow separate from nature because God made us smarter than everything else, right? But it's not like that. The truth is, we want the same things it looks like these creatures want. These other creatures. If you look at these images, just look at these images. These are our people. So this was his coffin when he was being in these places. When you're being buried as a Muslim, your coffin get passed around on the hands of everyone. Everyone wants to touch you because they feel like you served them. But now that you're gone, they want to give you a good goodbye. These are the images that came out of this revolution. This is some. If you see the videos, these are some crazy images. Like I'm telling you, millions of people, millions. Let's go back to this image again. The exact same thing. See, the exact same thing. Let's go again. Let's go past these images. Let's pass this one. We saw this one. This is the image of when, this image that I'm showing you right now, this is the image of when Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia went to see Isaias of Eritrea. Look at all these people. These people was yearning for this oneness that needed to happen in that area of Africa, in the Horn of Africa, what they call the Horn of Africa. They were yearning for this oneness, and they came out just like those they herd of sheep, just like the swarm of birds, just like the swarm of sardines. Is the same way these people came out to see these leaders when they were uniting together, or when they came to see each other. Because from what I understand, Eritrea and Ethiopia has had a long-standing beef with each other. So when the president decided to get over these beefs and come together, this is what happened. So you can tell, like, these same common beliefs and stuff that we are talking about, these same things are what we are looking for as a people. We are looking for the exact same thing. And then there's one more image I want to show you guys, because this image is a really powerful image as well. And when I show you guys this image, I think that this will be the last image I show you here before I go over what I go over, and then I leave it open for some questions. But just post you guys questions in the chat. I'm gonna send a link in the WhatsApp chat as well, so you guys can come in and ask any questions when the time has come. Let me see. I'm trying to find this image. One second, guys. Okay, looks like I might got to go and Google this image again. Probably deleted it by mistake. So, but there's one image I want to show you guys from what I have here. I want to stick and this is the image I want to stick on before I show you the other images. Let me mute myself for a second. Yes, I found the image that I want to show you guys. This is one of the, like, I don't even know what to say about this image. This image is insane. That's the most I could say about it. But here, I'll show you guys. Can you guys see this image? I hope you can see this image. This is what we can build if we are together. If we are together as one, this is what we can build. This is an actual ants nest. Like, ants created this nest here. What happened is that these researchers, they went into they threw zinc, I think, in this ants nest, thinking that it was just a simple ants nest somewhere. Turns out it was a whole city underground. It was a whole city of ants underground, and they couldn't stop digging when they started digging. When they dug right down, this is what they found under the earth, created by ants. This was created by some of the smallest creatures. I'll give you guys a chance to contemplate this, man. I'm gonna mute myself and give you guys a chance to contemplate this. I'll give you some more images as well. This is insane. Just look at this. Just look at this image. This is people down there digging in the ants nest. The ants created a whole nervous system. Like how many feet down? This is way past 6 feet down in the earth that these ants have created this. This is the power of, this is the kind of power we have, even though we are small, even though we could be perceived that we are weak, even though we perceive somehow that we can't move further in life because we are trapped on somebody else's program. This is what we are capable of when we create some form of oneness, when we come together on some common denominator. These ants have to come together on some form of common denominator and say, hey, we are small, but we are plenty. This can take us a couple of years, you know, maybe 10, 20 years, but we can do it. And the ants stayed there for how many years and created this whole city underground. They even have like, these look like little hotel rooms. These look like Airbnbs, you know. You can just come here and you can just stay for a while, you know, then move on to your next destination. Let me show you guys some more images. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. Actually, I'm gonna show you guys a video. Give me one. Just imagine. Yes, it's true. The Bible says we should look at ants. Just imagine, this is not happening in just one place, you know. This is what ants do wherever they find themselves, wherever they find each other. This is what they do. They come together and they create these huge structures where they can protect themselves, feed themselves, shelter themselves, and everyone else. Yes, that's Proverbs 6, verse 6. Imagine that. That's where they come from. And we have to actually look at these creatures, look at how they behave, look at what they do when they're at peace. This is why it's important to have peace. Because if you're constantly having instability, you can't build something like this, because you're gonna be living like a nomad. You're running from one spot to the next spot to the next spot. You never get to build anything. And I wanted to show you guys the video, like how they actually found this thing, because it's really, really fascinating. I found the video. Let me share it with you guys.
The next stage of the investigation was to find out what one of these subterranean cities looked like. The amount of cement.
I hope you guys can hear this video, right? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
Required is extraordinary. For 3 days they kept pouring until 10 tons of cement had disappeared down the tubes.
Did you guys hear that? 10 tons of cement. 10 tons of cement went down in this tube to actually figure out what these ants were doing down there. These small little creatures that we crush every day when we see them on our wall, they try to bite us. They took 10 tons of cement just to create, just to figure out how deep this thing was.
After a month, they begin the excavation, led by Professor Louis.
So after a month of after a month of throwing down cement in this thing and trying to figure out how much more it's gonna take, they started digging.
Forci.
Everything looked like it was designed by who? Or designed by what? An architect. The answer architect.
To be successful.
So if the ant can do this, just imagine what we can do. If we have this one consciousness that I'm talking about, we have this one consciousness, we have our shared belief, one oneness, sorry. We have shared belief, we have some shared ideas, some shared knowledge, and we decide to put all of these together and move forward together with each other. This is what we are capable of. If the ants can do this, then us thinking that we are weak is really just a matter of perception. It's really just coming off of everyone else's program and creating your own program. These ants came off of everyone else's program. These ants didn't care what big animal was up there walking, boom, boom, boom. Every time they're digging this thing, they didn't care. They just went and did it. Same way the sardine bundles up like this, even though they know that predators are coming. Same way the sheep move from one place to the next as a herd. Same way the swarm of flies, this swarm of birds go from one spot to the next together, move forward together. It's the same way we can do the same exact thing, and that's what how I believe we can learn from these creatures to achieve this oneness that we're trying to achieve, and we have been trying to achieve for so long, because Africa was on a trajectory towards unification. Every area of the world that is caught up in this geographical type of misconception is always trying to move together to unify itself. But what happened is that this unification was obstructed by slavery, obstructed by colonialism. Now it's been obstructed by neo-colonialism. But I believe if the common people find these common beliefs and these shared ideas, attitudes, and knowledge, if you put these things in one place, just like how the ants were in one place when they built that city, we ourselves can develop that oneness as well, solidify our image in the world as a unique people, and move forward from where we are. So that was my lesson for today, guys. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything. I'm gonna post the link in the chat now while I contemplate on all these things myself. So give me 1 second. Okay. There you go, guys. Right. I'll just be here waiting for you guys. If you wanna connect and have some thoughts you wanna share, maybe some shared beliefs and ideas and attitudes and knowledge, so we ourselves can use them and begin to move forward and build the Great Wall of China. We're gonna call it the Great Wall of Africa. And then also let me post this link in the WhatsApp as well, so you guys can join if you want to. So while I wait, I'm just gonna go over these stuff that I show you guys, so that you guys can see where the rundown happens and how it all comes together. So first, achieving this oneness from these other creatures that have achieved this already before us, even though we are smarter than them. Why do we need to study this? Because it's an important weapon. The mind is an important weapon. Thinking about how people can come together is an important weapon. Thinking about how other people use the mind to manipulate us, to keep us separated because of some differences that we have, is an important weapon to then find out what these shared beliefs are. How do we, what is collective oneness? It's the fundamental sociological concept that refers to the set of shared beliefs, ideas, attitudes, and knowledge that we have in common as a group or society. How do you achieve this now? I think the theory of the panopticon is the best way to achieve this in our time. And as I said, the panopticon is a circular prison, but the panopticon can also be seen as a circular 5-star hotel that we place ourselves in, so that we can grow together in this space. We can see the consequences of our actions and our inactions. This is the 21st century panopticon. Social media is a 21st century panopticon. The globe, this concept is my concept, the globe in the center. Everyone else is around seeing the consequences of their actions and inactions as a collective, not just as individuals. And then how do we begin? We begin by looking at ourselves. Look at where you are, who you are, and where you want to be. Meditation is good to detach yourself from the world, from the external world, because what we need to do is, as I say, like in the Matrix, we need to come off of that program. Meditation is one way you come off of that program, like when Neo came off of the program that he thought was life, things that he thought couldn't change, things that he thought was real. He realized none of it is real. It's just a program. So meditation is one of the best ways to come out of this program. Why would you want to distance yourself from the external world? Is because it wasn't created in our image. So we have to distance ourselves from it, like the ants did, create our own thing. Then we can come back out when this thing is solidified. When it's solidified, we come back out and we decide, okay, this is who we are, and who you are doesn't matter to us. But this is who we are. And then we move forward together from there. People will have to respect what you are, who you are, and where you want to be, and what you decide is right and appropriate for yourself, and not what they decide. Because we have been, especially African people, We are on everyone else's program. Look at where we are in the world. Everywhere we are in the world, we're at the bottom of every socioeconomic chain. You wonder why? Why? Because it wasn't created for us. It was created to put us there. It was created to put us at the bottom of these socioeconomic chains, because it's not our system. It's not created in our image. It's created in someone else's image. And then they're using us now to keep this system alive, to keep this program alive. And then we see real life witness of this, right? When it came to other people's revelation, we saw real life witness of people coming together like these herd of sheep, or this swarm of birds, or this swarm of sardines. Whether when they feel danger or when they want to move from one spot to the next, they want to move up, they want to progress, or they just want to keep each other, just like how these other creatures came together. But don't forget, sheep need a shepherd. So some people will say, oh, we don't need any leaders, blah, blah, blah. This is not true. We do need leaders. We do need people to show us how we ourselves communicate ideas that we ourselves can't communicate. This is what leaders do. They communicate ideas that we ourselves can't communicate. But I always believe that the best leaders are those people who provide ways for people to lead themselves. That's what the best leaders are. So I'm away for another 5 minutes, and whoever want to come and join and ask questions, or maybe just a comment, can always come and comment, share what your ideas are, share your views, etc. Well, everyone seems busy, middle of the week. So I'll wait another 5 minutes. No one comes, then I'll just shut it down. And I'll shut it down and see you guys next week.
Okay, let me tell you this, guys. Darkness has no power. Darkness has no power at all. Like darkness, it has no power. Why? If you're in the deep darkness, all right, you don't see anything. You don't see where you're going. You don't see what is next to you. And then you just turn light. In 1 second, that darkness disappears. So do you understand the importance of light in the midst of darkness? Okay, on the other hand, if you have light, it doesn't matter how much there's a deep darkness, it doesn't matter, but you always see something as long as there's a light. This is to tell you that, guys, in the midst of darkness, there's these bright moments that happen, and our job is to focus on that. Sometimes, there'll be a time we'll talk about the issues and everything and the struggles that are happening and how can we get over this, and there'll be a time that we channel our energy and we channel our hearts to something good that is happening.
So the lie began from the very beginning of time, right? And I can ask you one question right now. What does history tell us you about Africa? Who discovered Africa? If you write right now on Google who discovered Africa, you find out that is one white man that he came and discovered Africa. And you can ask yourself that how can you discover a place that already exists? How can you discover a place that people already live in that place? It is impossible, but that's what the history tells us. That's what people believe about Africa, that it was discovered by a white man. This guy, he came, and then he went back, he gave a report, and then the next we know is colonialism, because those guys, they sat somewhere to divide Africa like a piece of cake, because they discovered it, they own it, it belonged to them. But that is us. We discovered, we're the first people to know. And today you have a lot of people around the world that they think that Africa was discovered by them.
You want to support independent economic movements around the world but don't know how? Welcome to Triangle, an independent social economic network right in the palm of your hands. Check on the progress of the projects you are interested in. Watch live videos of the projects that you either donate to or are interested in. Comment on the project with your friends, or contribute to the project while it is live. Check the hottest business plan submission all around the globe. Get an instant update on new business ideas that are submitted through our unique submission system. Upload content about your own business progress. Start a live video to show the world or pictures of your progress. Get personal with the people that had contributed to your project, and also to the people to whom you have contributed to. Search the globe for all the active projects to see what you might be interested in. Start engaging with the future. Sign up for Triangle.
All right, guys, I have one more thing I want to show you before you leave, and then I'll leave you guys with this, because I'm glad reggae music talk about this too, because I didn't even know there was a scripture in the Bible that actually talk about this. I read a lot of Proverbs, but I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't read my Bible in a while. So I'm going to leave you guys with this image. And this, and remember, this is thought time, eh? This is thought time. This is what this lesson is about. So I just want to put thoughts in you guys' head. Thank you, Alan, for saying great job. Thank you. So guys, we're gonna go to the ant and we're gonna consider its ways, and we're gonna be wise with how we enter into this realm, this century. You guys have a great day. And you can always, if you're in the WhatsApp chat, you can always post your questions there as well if you want. I know some of you guys are probably sleeping. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see soon.